What's up guys, and welcome back to episode 2 of Up Close With, and today we're doing it on an animal, and it's a really sad story about this animal because this animal is the world's most trafficked animal in the world due to the wildlife trade and Chinese medicine. And yeah, so this animal is the pangolin, and you can find pangolins across Africa and Asia. There's 8 different species, 4 in Africa, 4 in Asia. So yeah, let's get into the facts, shall we? Number 10. These guys are actually the world's only scaly mammal. So across their whole body, they have scales. And the scales are made out of the same stuff your fingernails are made out of, called keratin. And it's really tough, which leads on to my next point. So number 9. They will curl up into a ball to protect themselves. And the keratin scales will form a type of armour and protect them against hyenas, lions, leopards and any other animals that try to eat them. So because it's really tough and not virtually unbreakable, but it takes a bit to break it. So as you can see, this guy's got quite a long tongue. But when it's fully out of the mouth, it can reach up to 30 centimetres long. But their tongue, when unravelled in full, it's longer than their head and body combined, which is like super long. So yeah, that's about their tongue. So leading on from the last point again, is their tongue they will use to eat termites and ants, and they will eat about 200,000 a day or 70 million a year, and that is a lot of bugs. Yeah, and the way they will break into termite mounds is with these massive claws. They will just tear into it and rip it apart. Yeah, and lick up everything that's in there. So most people would think that these guys, they've got the long nose, the long tongue, would be related to anteaters, right? Well, no, they're not. They're actually more closely related to dogs, cats and bears, i.e. carnivores, than they are to sloths, anteaters and armadillos. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, but yeah, that's the truth. Due to having this big long nose, they have really good sense of smell, and that is how they will find their food, because their eyes and their hearing isn't good. Kinda like my eyes, really. They will probably need glasses if they were a human. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. So I know I've mentioned their claws before, but they will also use their claws to lift up rocks and logs and other stuff to see what's hiding underneath. So in the wild, these guys are solitary and nocturnal, which means they live on their own, spend their whole life on their own, and they only come out at night. So to hunt, and most animals come out at night to hunt because that is when there's less predators. Most of the predators will be asleep, so they can hunt in peace and do what they need to do, and then get back to their den and sleep during the day. So these guys are actually bipedal, which means they will walk on 2 legs, and they will walk with their arms up like that and their tails up as well. And so when they're walking along, you'd think they'll just go splat, but their tail acts as a counterweight to balance out the weight. So I know I only normally do 10 facts, but due to the fact these guys are very endangered, I'm going to do one more. And that is that in the wild, they will not dig their own burrows. They will find a leftover aardvark burrow and use that instead, because they don't want to damage their claws, because if they do, they can't get into termite mounds and find the food that they need. So yeah, so let's get into the differences, shall we? So there are 4 pangolins found in Africa and 4 found in Asia. So we're going to go through the African ones first and then the Asian. So the first one we're going to be looking at is the first pangolin we'll be looking at is the white-bellied, and obviously they have a white belly, and yeah, there's not much I can say else about them, but They are vulnerable in the wild, and they are found through the west to Central Africa. So the next pangolin we're going to look at is the black-bellied, and so these guys are completely black, but on the end of each scale it's orange, so it looks like flames or like ash with like orange flame bits on the end, and they look actually really cool, to be honest. And these guys are also vulnerable and also found West and Central Africa. The next African one is called a giant pangolin, and they are huge. They are much bigger than the other two, and they are the biggest type of pangolin in the world. And they are found on the west and central coast, or in the west and to the central parts of Africa again, and they are also vulnerable. So the next African one, and the last one, is called the Temminck's ground pangolin. And these guys are brown, and they've got like frosted tips on the end, or like white tips of their scales. And they look also really cool as well, because they look like ice, and the other ones that I mentioned, the black-bellied, look like fire. These guys are also vulnerable and are found across central, east and southern plains of Africa. Now we're on to the Asian four, and the first Asian one is the Chinese pangolin, and these guys will look quite cool as well. They have got black backs with white underbellies, and it just goes, the colouring just looks really cool, to me anyway. So yeah, that is the Chinese, and they are critically endangered, and they are found in the west and central of Asia. So the second Asian pangolin is the Sunder, and these guys have black backs with white scales down the sides. And these guys are also critically endangered, and they are found across the southeast of Asia. So the third one is called an Indian pangolin, and or also the thick-tailed, because they have very fat tails, obviously, due to the name. But yeah, these guys are all brown, and yeah, the Indian pangolins are actually endangered, and they are found on the Indian subcontinent, all on their own, just in that little area. So the last pangolin on this list is the Palawan, and they are found in strictly the Philippines, in the Palawan province. And these guys, I can't really describe them much because they're brown again, and they're endangered. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like, a comment, and if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. My aim is to hit 50 subscribers by mid-April, so please help me get there.